Hello, I'm Leif Laursen from Copenhagen Analytics, and today I want to tell you about how to use conditional formatting to color each line in a table separately, depending on values in an external table. Here's the table we want to look at. The table has just two columns, has a product number, and it has a cost for each product. But of course the tables could have as many columns as we want. The table we want to use to color our table is this table here. We want to look at each cost at each product to see whether it's expensive, or whether we would call it medium priced, and whether it's cheap. It's expensive if it costs more than $30. It's medium priced if it costs between $15 and $30. And it's cheap if it costs less than $15. And we will color it accordingly to the colors in this table. So what we do is we first move our cursor to the first row of the table and we go to conditional formatting. And we say new rule. And we say use a formula to determine which cells to format. We want to always look at the B column of our table because that's where the cost is. So we click on the B column, make sure that it's in the same row where we situated the cursor, and then we use F4 to remove the $sign in front of the 2, but to retain it in front of the B. The reason for doing this is as the conditional formatting is expanded to the whole table, we want to make sure that it always looks in the B column and always picks up the row that it's in. And by removing the $sign in front of the 2, it will always look at the current row, not row number 2, but it was always, because of the $sign in front of the B, it will always look in the B column. Now we say larger than or equal to 30. This is how we identify the expensive products, and we want the expensive products to be colored green. Click OK. Now we can see just this single cell is currently colored. So we need to go back to the conditional formatting, say manage rules. We click on the rule we want to manage, click applies to, and we select the whole table. Click OK. Now we can see every row that costs more than or equal to $30 is colored green, signifying that it's an expensive product. Now we want to add medium priced products to this table. And we do that by adding a new rule. We say use a formula. Again, clicking on B2, using F4 to remove the $sign. We say larger than or equal to 15. Color it yellow. Again, we have the same issue as before. We also notice that it's on the way to coloring this line yellow. So it may be looking at whether it's medium price before it checks whether it's expensive. So we want to fix both those things at the same time. We want to expand the medium priced coloring to the whole table, and we want to make sure that it checks for expensive before it checks whether it's medium priced. So in conditional formatting, we say manage rules. We say, first of all, that it should apply to the whole table. Secondly, we look at the order of which the rules are set up. So we can see that it checks for medium priced here first, before it checks whether it's an expensive product. But it should do it the other way around. So we move down the medium priced rule, click OK, and now we get each row of the table being colored with the correct color. Now we need to add the cheap products, and we add a rule for that, similarly to how we created the other rules, using F4, larger than or equal to, well, actually we just want to say, we could say larger than or equal to 0, or we can say less than 15. In a way you could say that this is the more generic way of doing it, saying less than 15. Then we make sure that even negative values will be included. So we say no format set. We want to add the format blue to make sure cheap products are colored blue. We have same issue as before, which is we need to expand the rule to the whole table. We go to manage rules. Make sure to copy the range to the whole table. And we move down the rule so that it only checks whether the product is cheap if it's neither expensive nor medium priced. And here we have it, each product colored according to the price range. And we can see that this is a dynamic coloring, so that if we change expensive to start from $35, the coloring of the table automatically reflects that. Similarly, if we change medium price products to only begin at $20, we change this value, we see that the coloring of the table changes. Alright, I hope you found that useful, and thank you for your time.